So now we have all taken an example and clearly understand that when you want to do what is it called control data path design. In this example what we are taking, there is not much of data path. The data path happens to be an add, subtract and all. Even that's okay to begin with a simple example. So we are talking about basically having a counter with all the features. So what kind of features you are expecting for a controller? Counter. Let's talk about an 8-bit counter. And first thing I want basically have up-down feature. I mean, I should be able to control whether the counter should increment up or it should decrement down with every clock cycle. The next, I want basically counter to have something called a parallel load option. Whenever I want or initial load option, I can say initial load, init load. I will call control signal name. So whenever I give one, I will load some initial value which has to use it. Got it? So this is how I want to design a counter. Now look at, I am now directly arriving at the solution. Okay, the steps. Because it's simple, I can directly arrive. Okay. Now how it goes? See, now I'm doing a mux based design. There are a lot of ways of doing the design. We are actually doing with the simplest one, which is called mux based. Now this gets the signal that is init load. Now I have basically 0, 1. Okay. Now 0 indicates basically it is not initial loading. 1 indicates it is basically what is it called? Initial loading. Got it? So what is it you want to give initially? That I will call as init count. It's a bus. These are all buses. 8-bit counter, right? So whatever the initial value of count that you want to load, you have to feed it here. So when you make it 1, this value gets loaded. So where it gets loaded? Now this is not register stage. I'm sorry, the marker is not showing properly. So these are 8-bit parallel registers. So it's a D, it's a Q, it's 8 bits. Okay. Okay, so it's 8 bits. Now this one, whatever comes here, got it? Whatever comes here. Now this one, there are two options you said, right? One is increment by 1, other one is decrement by 1. So give it to basically plus 1, give it to basically minus 1. Then these two again goes to a mux, and this mux control line is nothing but I can call it as up bar by down, and this is 0 and this is 1. So when up bar by down, this control line is at 0, this counter actually plus 1 goes here. You got it there? When up bar by down goes 1, it means it's a decrement. This path gets enabled. Now you see, in this one, this total path is a, what is it called? Data path. And now these are the control signals up down. Now it's quite possible. It may be possible that these control signals might be coming from asynchronous logic or might be coming from a synchronous logic. But if let us say some other state machine is generating these control signals, they will be also disciplined by the same clock. So this is what the clock. So now this example is actually is a good example to begin with to understand how to do RTL design. These kind of diagrams are called RTL diagrams. These are also called as micro architecture diagrams. So a good practice for HDL based design is that first whatever the algorithm you want to implement, whatever architecture you want to implement using HDLs, Verilog or VHDL, you should have basically micro architecture like this. Then only you can write the code for it. So this ensures the perfect synthesis of whatever you want. You understood? See, this is how to once you understand that this is how you implement a counter, universal counter which has got the initial load option, up down option, isn't it? Now you understood, right, how this is going to work. Okay, so let's say you give initial load, give some count value, then make this as 0, then this path gets enabled. Now this is what the path. On every clock cycle, the present count value incremented by 1 and decremented by 1 is available here. And depending on this actually is. Now I want to ask you one question in this context. I would basically give all the numbers here. Now this fellow has got setup time of 1 nanosecond and clock to output of let us say 2 nanosecond, and this mux has got a delay of let us say 0.2 0.75 nanosecond, and this mux has got delay of another 0.75 nanoseconds, and this has got a delay of 0.25 nanosecond, and this has got a delay of 0.25 nanosecond. Now tell me, what is the max TCLK minimum?
2.75.
Sorry?
3.75.
So what did you do basically? See, now in the earlier case, you were having two registers, isn't it? And in between two registers, the combo logic was clear. So okay, even though it is from same register, okay, point is whatever the output is there, by the time you apply next clock pulse, whatever computed value should be ready before setup time. That's it. Same way calculation. So here basically clock to output is 2 plus 0.25, 2.25, 0.75, that is 3, plus 0.75, 3.75, plus setup time, that is 4.75.
Sir, means before next clock open, we will take only the worst case, sir.
Yes, the worst case is what?
0.75.
Where is 0.75? You mean to say only 1 mux? But the 2 muxes are in the path, right? You cannot count this one. This could be an exception. When you are loading initial count, could be an exception. That cannot be considered to decide the TCLK minimum. To count TCLK minimum, clock to output, after that you have two paths. Here now the problem is simple because both are having equal delay. But what do you do if both are don't delay? Let's say it is 0.25 and this is 0.35. What do you have to do?
0.35.
You have to count the worst case, 0.35. After that, this delay. One more mux. So both muxes got same delay, isn't it? Then setup time. That's how you have to sum. So with these numbers, 0.25, 0.75 and all, so this becomes 1.5 and 1.75 and this is 3. So it is 4.75. It comes like that. Okay? Fine. So now this is how we have to actually do what is called this one. In the context of processor, how this control data path design actually style emerges, we will continue in the next class.